All right, guys, welcome back. We are in season 2 of Law Conversations, episode 2, and I have a special guest with me this time. We are exploring all things motherhood, womanhood, but I'm going to turn it over and let her introduce herself at first, let you know who she is, and then we'll go from there. So, Ashley.
Awesome. My name is Ashley Johnson Alford. I am a mom of three. I'm an
Mm.
attorney in Georgia and Louisiana, and just overall socialite. That's it.
Okay. So I want to start from the beginning because I feel like that's the best place to start. Um, I don't like what made you enter into the legal world? Like that's so intense to me. And like you
Uh,
have such a like opposite of like they're so type A and I feel like you're just like such a fun person. I'm like I wouldn't have thought that.
and I'm not one of those people who are like, ever since I was 10 years old, I knew I wanted to be a lawyer. That's like absolutely not me. Um, I knew I wanted to get into law. One, I just, as a child and as a young adult, I had a horrible criminal record, and I hate saying this on record because everybody's going to look it up after I say this. I had a horrible criminal record, and then I had terrible attorneys. I never had a good attorney. So in the back of my mind, I always thought like I want to be the attorney that I should have had when I was a kid.
Okay.
That could have just helped me. I could have been on a completely different path if I had better attorneys or at least better advocates, not even just attorneys.
Yeah.
So the more I experienced life, the more I saw that people that look like me just did not have like an advocate is what made me go to law school.
Okay. So then in undergrad, was that already your path or like it was kind of
No. Um, if you ask anybody who knew me prior to me going to college, I was going to be a journalist. I'm naturally a writer. I always wanted to do some type of journalism, mainly print. And of course, we don't even see much print journalism anymore. But that's what I actually went to school for initially.
Oh wow. So then okay, so you graduated and then you just was like, I'm
I
gonna go back.
graduated, and when I graduated, I had a kid already, so I didn't really get to have that like space of well, figure out what you want to do. Like, take the time to see what I was
Relatable
going out
content.
and everyone was going to pay me, right? So I did banking, I did pharmacy, I did whatever put food on the table at
Mhm.
that point, and I just didn't really ever have that space to kind of sit and think like, well, what am I actually doing?
Yeah.
So I've worked in almost every industry.
But I think that's dope though, because I think a lot of people, when it comes to like figuring out your purpose and all of that, people think like you're supposed to know from when you're 10 and then you just expound on that. Like, hell nah. You do so many other things. And even like going to high school, they try to put you on this path of like, oh, well, if you do 4 years here, then you could do this. But it's like, what if I do 4 years and then I figure out I don't like that shit? And
I
now
don't
I
like
really
that.
don't know
Exactly.
what I wanted to do. So I
And then
think,
they kind of box you in.
yeah.
And college altogether, I hate to say college is a scam, but if you don't go in with some type of plan, then it becomes a scam because now I have these degrees that I never even touch, never even use.
Same. How does that like your daughter, is she kind of like the same as you? Are y'all opposites? Like how do you kind of
It I try to teach her how to go for what she wants, and it's really hard because my daughter inside really wants to be an artist, but she feels like she's not going to be able to sustain herself as an artist. So she'll say stuff like, I'm going to be an artist, but like in real life, my real job is going to be a marketer. And I'm like, girl, being an artist is a real job. It's a real
yeah,
job.
especially today.
So I try to kind of hone in on her skills and show her people who do art full time for a living. Like, obviously, I went to Howard, so I have always tried to get my daughter to go to school. So we take tours. I took her up there once they named the art school the Chad Bozeman School, just so she could see it, just so she can see like this is art. Like people study this. This is a career path that you can actually take. And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it on the side. And I'm like, okay, girl. So I just want my kids to be able to have some type of plan, a better plan than what I had, because I didn't have a plan. I was just winging it. And I don't want them to have to do that.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful though. And I think that's the difference between generations because I feel like my mom had me when she was 30 and like my brother when she was 40. So like the whole thing of like security and like your 9 to 5 is like real for them. But we're in a
Mhm.
space now where there's so much money out there. There's so many different ways that you can make money. And I remember like you saying, I'm a writer. I love to write. I like my mind is
Mhm.
whatever. But my mom was like, it's not
There's
gonna
no money in that.
there's no
Mhm.
money and it's not going to pay the bills. And I wanted to be a cosmopolitan editor like heavily. Like I was
Mhm.
collecting and everything. Like I was invested. And she was just like, I mean, you can do that and be broke if you want. Like,
They
but
told me that
whatever.
even when I said I was going to undergrad for communications, they were like, what are you going to do with that afterwards? Like, we communicate every day. Like, there's a job in communications everywhere. And I definitely felt like I was going in on like a low class major. And I think that really affected like how I matriculated through college, because I just felt like I'm going to get out and I'm still going to struggle.
But that's crazy though. Like, especially now, I feel like there's just so much. But I think that's dope how you encourage your daughter. You show her what there is out there instead of just
Mhm.
being like, well, these are things that are going to make money and the world changes in 10 years. And now
And
you would have started 10 years ago, you could have been so much further along. Cause that's how I feel. Like,
Mhm.
I'm military and that's great, the Air Force. But I just often now, especially that I'm coming up on 12 years, I'm just like, yo, I could have been doing what I wanted to do 12 years ago and who knows where I would have been. So I think that's dope that you see her for her first of all and what she wants to do and then encourage her to, really go after that because you just never know, especially in the age of social media.
No,
You
you
tag
don't
one
know.
person and
And
now
everything is like faddish and things come and go. And art is very present. And I keep showing her that. I keep telling her that like people need graphic designers, people need all types of artistic creatives, you know. So I try to show her how relevant that is. But it is also kind of hard because she watches me every day and she'll say stuff like, well, if I want to be rich, I have to be a lawyer or a doctor. And I'm like, no. There are other options. You know, you will be rich if you become a lawyer or a doctor, but you can also do your own thing. Like you don't have to do it one way.
yeah, and there's so much value in the creative mind. I had a supervisor of mine and she was like, everybody looks for the creative mind because 2 plus 2 is always going to be 4. Like you can teach anybody how to do, what the manual says or whatever. But when you need those people that's going to like think outside the box and bring something extra to what you have going on, like you're going to wish that you did more for your creative mind. So I just think that's dope. Um, so you went to Howard. Did that shape your view for the legal world at all, or what's it
Legal
like?
world,
Or the world in general, honestly?
um,
They don't teach like African American studies in high school, so
I know. And I came from, you know where I came from. I came from Columbia, South Carolina, Irmo, actually. That's where I graduated from. So to see a school full of Black people
Mhm.
was different for me. I was coming from Confederate flags and good old boys and having to fight people in high school for calling me a nigger. Like,
Yeah,
so it was,
hard.
I was very, right. I was very dead set on, I'm going to an HBCU. I went to my high school graduation in a U-Haul and went straight to college, started summer school. Like, it was that serious for me because I needed to be around people who looked like me and who understood me. So, and I'll tell people this 10 times over. Howard shaped who I am as a person in so many ways.
Yeah.
Um, Even if it didn't like push me into the legal field, it definitely pushed me to know that anything that you want to do, you're going to have to fight for, but you can fight for it and get it. Because how it is a fight. How in any HBCU is a fight. I think anybody who goes to an HBCU understands that you're dealing with our people, and our people aren't always the most professional. Our
Mhm.
people aren't always the most prompt. They're not the most efficient. So you do have to learn how to fight. You got to fight to get what you need. You got to fight to finish. You have to fight to get to the next level. That's what I learned at Howard. And that's what pushed me to always just go to the next step. I was in corporate for so long and I was climbing the ladder in corporate. At one point, I was like the youngest regional manager for CBS. And I still was like, this is not what I want to do with my life. And I think I applied to law school. I took the LSAT, I got in, and me and my daughter moved to Atlanta that next month. And we started law school like 3 weeks later. So it was never like I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if it, I was 26, 25, 26 when I started law school. I was one of the oldest people there.
That's dope. That's because people think 25, 26 is so old. It's really not. It's
It's
really
really
not.
not. It's old in a college setting when you're dealing with people who just graduated undergrad
Yeah.
and they're 21 and they don't have bills and they don't have kids and I have all of that. It's different, but everybody's journey is different. Everybody's journey is different. And they can learn something from me just like I can learn something from them.
Yeah. I'm applying to grad school now. I'm about to be 30 this year. Online, of course, because I'm not about to send these classes with these folks, but it's still just like it's never too late.
Grad school.
Never too late. But I will say, everybody that I heard that went to HBCU and did the corporate, like they did it for maybe like 4 or 5 years at tops, and they were able to like get out and be entrepreneurial spirits. Like when I started doing the vlog and stuff, the photographer guy, I'm not trying to say he looked old, but I was like, oh, he's probably got like 10 years of experience. We were the same age. And I think I was like 24 or 25 at the time. And he was doing stuff with like J. Cole, like doing stuff like out in California. And that's why I really was like, if I would have taken that time to, if you have it, if you can afford it, to like
Right.
really go for it, I would have did it, especially before I had kids, because I tripped over start line. I had kids when I was like 21. Yikes. And even I interviewed a woman last week, and she like it was a creative producer for ESPN, and she's out in Fox like doing like sports like talent management or something. And I was like, oh, okay, she's probably we're the same age at HBCU, like just I don't know. So I mean it breeds greatness. There's something in the sauce.
It's life skills. It's more so life skills. You're dealing with people who understand your struggle for the most part because all skin folk and kin folk. So it also teaches you that there are a lot of different types of Black people, but HBCU experience gives you much more life experience than a PWI. And I went to a PWI. I went to a PWI for law school as well. I also went to Penn State. I'm also at University of Miami now. So I have like that contrast of I realize the value of an HBCU, even if it's annoying, even if I'm so tired of arguing with these people on the phone every day.
Yeah.
It taught me so many life skills that I still use every single day.
So you think undergrad is more for like character development, more for like your life and outlook as a person, and then you can go to the PWIs and like do what they be doing over there.
Whatever they be doing over there.
So what's like your daily hustle like? Just because I know at one point we were like trying to set this up for season 1, and you were like, I'm in court, I'm this, I'm moving back and forth. So like, what is that like?
I wish I could like articulate it in a way that makes sense, but right now my life does not make sense at all. I initially got barred in Louisiana, and I was in Louisiana when I got barred, and then I moved to Atlanta. I moved back to Atlanta, took the bar there, got barred there as well, and just have literally been like 50-50. I'm trying to settle down. That's the point of my life that I'm at right now. And I'm making hard decisions and I'm having a hard time making them. So my everyday life, I'll just tell you this week. This week I'm in Atlanta. I'm currently in Columbia, South Carolina for the weekend. And then on Monday I go back to Atlanta for court. And by Wednesday I'm in Louisiana for court. And by Saturday I'm back up here for work on Monday.
Ow.
So, and I have 3 kids. My oldest is homeschooling. She's online, so she travels with me. The other 2 travel with me as well. They have sat in many and plenty courtrooms. It That's life right now. I represent juveniles in both Georgia and Louisiana. I do family law in both states. I'm in court mostly for criminal law cases. I do a lot of criminal law in both states. So it's literally just when and where do I need to be in court? That's every day.
And like how far in advance do you know where you need to be?
I plan to be in Louisiana next week. I was supposed to be in Louisiana this week. This is Mardi Gras. I'm literally missing Mardi Gras because I had trial last week. And I just found out I have another trial next week. So I'll be going back home to New Orleans and coming back to Atlanta for trial. So it's just like I'll
Yeah,
be there when I need to be there. Yeah.
I saw you post like about your birthday and like how the judge was like, oh, okay, let's the trial. Like that's so trash. That's hilarious though. I laughed hard.
Yeah. And then it's like balancing my career with motherhood because my birthday is always every year, never fails. It's always the kids' spring break. So I never get to do anything for my birthday because I always have the kids, they're out of school. So we always end up having to do everything together. And this year we will be doing a trial together, all of us.
Dang.
We'll see how that goes.
But at the same time, so I guess this is a good time as any to really segue. I will bounce back once because I do want to know how everything going on in our culture and our society, as far as like mass shootings, as far as like, the killing of Black men and women, like how that, impacts your professional life. But in your personal life, you're a mom of 3, like that's not, I have one child that feels like 3 kids. So it's like, how do you manage it all? Because you seem to keep it together pretty well. And I don't know like what kind of support you have, but like what has that process been like entering into motherhood? I mean, is it different each time, or like now once you've done it, you can do it again and again?
No. I thought that, I always said like once you have 1 kid, you can have 2. Once you have 2, you can have 5. They're all the same. They're not. There are like stark differences between having my first kid, who's 12 now, and having my 2 younger, who are 2 and 1. But I realized like the difference is me. I'm in a different place in life, so then I can parent them different. My oldest daughter and I was always at a place of like survival. We were surviving. So the experiences that she got, the mom she got from me, was different than the mom that I am to my 2 younger kids because we're not surviving anymore. We're like living.
Yeah.
We're thriving. So my younger 2 kids don't ever have to worry about like where we're gonna live. Is my mom gonna have a car? Are we gonna have lights? Whereas my oldest daughter has those experiences.
Yeah.
She is very knowledgeable about like what we've been through. She's older, so she's been with me since the beginning.
Yeah.
So that's the difference in my parenting. I think just who I am as a parent based on like where I am in life now. I'm in a much better place in life now, so I'm just a much better parent. And of course, it's different. Society is different. I don't have as much support in Louisiana as I do in Georgia. My parents are really, really helpful now, which is nice because as a child, I just didn't have a great relationship with my parents. But they're just amazing, amazing, amazing grandparents for my children. My children think they are the moon and the stars.
Yeah.
So without them, I would not be able to take on the amount of work that I can take on, because that is like my main support. And obviously, when I had these kids, I didn't expect to be raising them alone.
Right.
Nobody plans for that. And I didn't plan to raise any of my kids alone, but also just not like standing in that and mourning that relationship for the rest of my life, because I'm not. I did it once by myself. I went from 1 kid to 3 kids, and I can do 3 by myself too. So that's kind of like my mantra, and that's how I go through every day. Like I did it. I did it before. I can do it again. I'll keep doing it.
That's Black women. It's really crazy. So you have a daughter, a son. I know you have a son, and then the third
I have
child.
2 daughters and a son.
That's so crazy. So I have Cam, and I'm just like, there's no way I could have had a daughter back at 21. I was out of my mind. Like, it's crazy how like just over time, like how you're saying, the type of mother. And I contemplated maybe like a year or 2 ago, like I feel like I could have a daughter now. I feel like all of the things that I went through, whether it was like lack of self-love, whether it was not feeling enough, not knowing how to say no, which sounds crazy, but like is a real
Yeah.
freaking thing. Like I could do those things now. So like did you struggle with any of that at all? Like even with your oldest, I know with your youngest, you'll be able to model it better. But like I
Yeah.
feel like when your kids see you in certain situations, it's like still molded, it's still shaped. And I mean, it took me and my mom a long time to like really come back from that because she was working through so many things, you know,
Yeah.
for herself as a woman, because she's a person and we forget that our parents are freaking people. Um, but like do you and your daughter ever have conversations about the survival stage versus the thriving stage now?
We talk about everything. And I really think that's the only way that we were able to survive that stage of our lives is we like that's my ace boom coon because it was she and I. It was she and I every day in and out. It was us. So she is able to appreciate where we are now. And we have those conversations frequently. And it like more than I admit I would like to have. And it's like a very daily, um, I do acknowledge like the traumas that are obviously there. I do acknowledge the insecurities and the fears that are there based on, the experiences that we've had. So just small stuff like, Mom, you think we can afford this? Like, yes, we can afford to go to Starbucks today, and it's not going to break me to pay $7. But it's just like small stuff like, no, 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 I'm not saying you don't have $7, but just saying like you might have to spend that somewhere else. Like just trying to transition from, no, baby, we're not poor anymore.
Because before them
Mom had
seven
a stable
dollars,
job. We're straight. We're good. We're not going to be out on the streets, baby. We're going to be fine.
yeah,
And it's not that she doesn't know that. It's just that she's always going to be conscious of that. She's always going to consider that. Whereas my other two kids will never know that reality.
yeah.
They will never understand. What do you mean we don't have no money? Like, what do you mean we can't eat out whenever we want? Like, what are you saying to me? So it's that difference. And I'm hoping, obviously, like, you're a mom. We
Yeah.
hope that in the future how we're doing it is like the best way to do it. I don't know the best way to raise these children. Um, I know having the conversations, I know doing the best that I can. That's all I can do. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that even this little transition with my oldest daughter, she's now able to use our past just as life experience. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I remember that happening to me. I remember what that felt like, but that's not my reality anymore.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's not something that's like so embedded in her that she has to work through that in the future as an adult. That's like my greatest fear.
Man, it's real. Like, I was actually just having a conversation with my mom the other day. And me and my mom recently just went through a period of time where we did not like, probably for like 6 months, which is like the longest time we've ever not talked. But we came back and we're just trying to work through some things, and just realizing that you operate in your adulthood out of things that you had like a deficit of. So like
Mhm.
I lived with my grandparents on and off for like the first 6 or 7 years of my life. And then by the time I was going to live with my mom, she was getting married. So I was like, who's the
Who's
boy over
this?
here? Like, right. You know what I'm saying? And so I never really felt like a priority. I never really felt like I was good enough, like the focus was on me. And I mean, that transcended through like relationships, friendships, just all the things. And so now that I have Cam, it's like I'm not gonna hold you. Even right now, it's a struggle because I'll because we had little, I always want us to be straight and have enough. So I'm always doing the things which caused me to like have deployments early on. So his first 6 years of his life, I was gone like on and off the first four. So it's like he was
Mhm.
with dad, he was with my mom. And even now, like when I'm trying so hard to like make him like the focus is on you, boo. Like I'm in your world, whatever. He's just like, well, do you like Beyonce more than you like me? Do you like my fiance now like more than you like me? Beyonce's a stretch.
Okay,
But
let's
it's just like
back.
that priority thing is now like somehow, next generational, and we have to work so much harder to undo it. And even I ain't gonna hold you. And I don't know if this is just because I had him in my 20s and I was trying to find myself, but I find myself just wanting to like be Lauren, like not necessarily Lauren the
Hey,
mom,
mom.
Lauren the, whatever. It's just like,
I listen.
But like you can't give up on your kids. Crazy enough.
No, and it's not
Good.
giving up
It's
on.
frowned
So
upon.
one thing that my therapist said something, I 100% feel you. And I've probably been talking about this in therapy for like 8 months now. And
Mm.
she said something because just like you kind of passed that prioritization issue on when with my daughter, my oldest daughter, it's the inability to attach to people. We don't,
Mm.
baby, if I never see you again tomorrow, like it was really nice knowing you, but I'm gonna just keep moving. My daughter's the same way. I don't care if you are her best friend, she love you down to death. If you don't speak to her, if you move, if you leave, she's fine. She got that, when I say through the bloodstream straight to her, she got that from me. We are very much like, as long as I have you and you have me,
That's it.
everybody else. And it's not, I hope that's not something that she carries into her relationship. She
Mm.
carries into, life and jobs, because that's what I've seen be the downfall of my relationships,
Mm.
because people need to be needed. People need to know that you're not going to wake up in the morning and not want them anymore. And that's who we are as people. We are very much like, I really like you when you're here, but if you leave, baby, it was nice. It was nice, but we gonna keep making more memories, and you just not gonna be in them. It's so my therapist, when I talk about it to her, one thing she says is like, heal it in you first,
Yeah.
because it's going to be much easier to heal it in you versus trying to heal it in the kids. And then the thing about the kids is they're watching you. So not only are they watching how you chose to heal that thing that they're also dealing with, they're able to like witness the process so that they can do it on their own when they're ready to do it. So we're kind of like healing each other together, because
Yeah.
they're gonna mimic everything we do. My
Absolutely.
mother's like my shadow. So I'm showing her now, like, this is what it looks like when I'm trying to attach to someone. This is what I'm struggling with in doing so. These are things that you might also struggle with, but like we can do that together.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I've seen that's working, because they're going to watch everything you do. They're not
Yeah.
always going to listen to everything you say, but they're going to watch everything you do. So I'm now trying to I'm the work in progress. Like, watch me fix it so that you know how to do it when it's your turn to fix it.
Yeah. So what is her or your kids' relationships like with their dads? Because I get so frustrated, especially just in the last few years. I feel like there's so many Black men speaking out against like Black women. But I like to have these conversations like at my work center, because work is like, yeah. But I had one Black guy and he was saying like Black women aren't raised to be like wives. They're not raised to be like partners. And I was like, do you think that Black men are raised to be like husbands and like
No.
emotionally available partners? And I feel like we get so much slack as Black women for the lack thereof of Black men, or what they fail to do. Like we carry it on. And if we're ever mad about it, if we're ever whatever, then it's bitter, it's anger, it's all of this. And so it's like, how do you instill in her like the independence and like, yes, we're gonna be okay, but then also I don't even know how to word this one, because it's just so wild every time I hear it. It's just, you want to be feminine, you want to be able
You
to
want to be
rely
soft. Mm-hmm.
on the men around you, but when they let you down, it's like, okay, so I'm not gonna do that, and now it's my fault that I didn't let you let me down.
It's not. That's what I'm teaching her. And if I don't do nothing else by example, she's witnessed every relationship I've ever been in, except for the one with her father, which is where we are currently now. And she's 12, and that's the stage we're at now. So her father and I were together very briefly, like we split when she wasn't even 2.
Oh
And
wow.
he's also in the Air Force. So he got stationed overseas years ago and has been there ever since. So we are just now getting to a point in time where, now she's always had a phone, she's always been accessible. We don't have beef. It's never been a bad relationship, but he has struggled to re-enter her life as her dad due to just the shame of missing the time, the shame of being absent. and I don't know if that's a Black man thing, if they just don't have enough support. He doesn't know how to come back into her life.
Mm.
And because he doesn't know how to do that, that burden is on me to, hey, can you set this up for us? Can you introduce this to her? And I'm like, I do enough. I'm mom.
Okay, plenty.
I only have to be mom and dad when you're not here, but I can't also now carve out dad's lane. Like, dad got to do something for himself
Yeah.
because I've been doing mom and dad all these years. So for so many years, that's where my anger came from, just regarding my first child's dad, because I already feel like I'm trying to figure out my own lane. I can't carve yours out too. Like, it's enough work as it is. So now that I'm growing and I am just getting a little wiser, I realize that some dads just need a little assistance. They need the push. So they want to set up the meetings, but they don't know how.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. I can do that in my sleep. You want to see her? Y'all need to meet up. You need a flight. You need a hotel. You need, okay, this is what you need to do. This is what she likes. This is where you need to take her. And then it happens and she's like, he's the best dad in the world. He took me such and such. How did he know how to do that? Girl, I
You're welcome.
don't, is good. He must be listening. And
Bruh.
then what does that take for me to do it? I get credit all the time. I'm always going to get the credit. She always thinks her mom is the bomb.com, best thing that ever happened to her. So it doesn't take away from me to give him some credit, just to
I think
build that.
that's beautiful though. Because I mean, there are people that'll be angry and that's just that. Like you did not
And
do
it was like that
anything.
for years.
But
But it wasn't helping me, and more so it wasn't helping her, because they were never going to get to the point where they are right now without some help. And I just had to sit down and realize, like, it wasn't taking anything from me as a mom to help him be a dad.
I
And it was
think
helping
it's beautiful. I
the
really,
other
really
side
do.
of that.
Like that's not
It,
light. That's not light
it's
because
been a long time. My daughter is 12.
as that,
She's 12. We are talking a decade or more.
but she
So
appreciates it, all the, the effort and
he is like the best dad in the world, and they just are so similar. And he knows so much about. She has no idea how he knows all this stuff about her. I'm like, who knows? He knows.
magic.
You
Crazy.
should.
It's crazy.
Um,
That's hilarious. So I kind of touched on it, but you as a woman, you as a person, like how you make time for that for you, or do you?
Thankfully, I love my job. I finally have a job in a career. I work for myself, but I finally am in a career path that I love. So it doesn't feel like I'm working. I genuinely love what I do as an attorney.
Okay.
So that's one thing. That's where I feel like that's my thing. That's what I do for me. I practice law. Um, and then I genuinely love being a mom. So when I'm not working, I'm momming. And I do want to eventually get to a place where I find other hobbies, and I find out, what I like to do outside of that. But I'm very content in where I am right now. I am obviously doing some self work. I am still trying to grow as a person. I am taking time to myself, especially now that I'm single. Um, I'm not usually single. So this is probably the longest period that I've been single. So
Mm.
that's like the next phase in my life. I'm like a serial monogamous. I've been in relationships since like middle school.
That's crazy.
So this is like, yeah, this is my introduction to like single Ashley, and I love it. I'm missing a lot of things that I didn't know that I would miss. I love this phase. Nobody told me. Y'all didn't tell me about this. Like, like I really feel like y'all was keeping it from me, because
Yo,
yeah, this is nice.
being single is lit. Like my fiance, he gets so mad when I say this, but the happiest that I've ever been is when I was single. Yes, I was a single parent, but I was able to I like really got into like solo trips. So I would just like get up and go to Cape Town, where the hell ever, and just like figure it out. And it gave me so much confidence in myself. The world is so beautiful. Like
Yeah.
this is cool too, this next phase, because you can't be a hot girl forever, but it's just like, I mean, you could, but again, probably frowned upon. But it's just like being single, it's
Yeah, I'm telling
it's
y'all got
nothing.
this to yourself. Y'all did not put me on. Y'all did not put me on. And it just takes away so many pressure. It takes away so much
Mhm.
anxiety from like being partnered. Being partnered is hard.
Yeah.
Being partnered is hard. Especially like touching on what you just said about how Black women catch so much slack from just everybody else. And it's really because y'all really don't know who we are and what we're actually capable of. And you're never going to know that because we carry so much of everybody else's stuff.
Mhm.
We're so like bogged down in carrying our partner stuff, carrying our kids stuff, carrying stuff from work, carrying our friends stuff, carrying our parents. We
Yeah.
have so much stacked on top of us that y'all never even get down to like, well, who is she by herself,
Mhm.
aside from her kids, aside from her partner? We never get to that point. So it's always all this judgment for women and why we can't be wives. We can't even be ourselves, let alone do any of those roles that y'all are trying to assign us to. Cause y'all don't give us the space to just be people.
Yeah. I think
That's
it,
where I'm at now.
it's worth noting. So I look not too much, but into interracial relationships. And I think I've told this story before, but I just remember going into a party and it was a lot of, I mean, I think I was only like single person there, but everybody else was there. They were in interracial relationships, but the thing that made them interracial was that the men were Black and then the women were Asian, white, Hispanic, whatever. And so I just remember like asking, like, what is it? Because I will walk into spaces now as a Black woman, and there will be plenty of Black men and be like, they're not interested in me. Like, none of them are checking for me. I mean, not that it matters now, but it's just like, that's such a shitty feeling to have.
Mhm.
And I remember one guy saying, like, they just don't have the extra pressures sometimes. Like, sometimes it's good to know that like things are possible. And the Black woman I know will get down and grind with you and like make things happen. But
Too
they're
much.
like, they don't even have certain like blocks in their mind of like, well, we're gonna have to do this and this. It's just possible. And like, this is how it's gonna happen. And like everything is great. And I'm like, well, that must be nice, I'm sure. Um,
But that's not our experience.
it's not our experience. And
Mhm.
it's like, whereas he was saying, whereas with a Black woman, like you'll sit and focus on all the obstacles you'll have to like overcome. Sometimes with women of different ethnicities, that barrier just isn't there. And so everything's able to be a lot lighter and a lot happier or whatever. And that's his truth. That's fine, because I'm not going to ask you for your opinion and then be like, well, that's trash that you have that opinion. But I just still was like, it's interesting because even as we sit here and we talk about the slack that we have to catch, it's Black women that I feel sometimes have issues finding suitable partners. Black men have like the world in their palms. So why are we dealing with like the crumbs of it all? And I feel like they get to experience the joys and the good parts. I
I
think
have the same
that's
conversations with Black men. And what I've started doing now is to ask them, okay, well, what are you doing to alleviate some of that from Black women? Versus just like, oh, I'm not going to mess with them at all. I'm going to go to somebody else. Like, why don't you find a Black woman and do what you can to alleviate that kind of stuff so that
mm,
y'all are both now working with like a freer, a lighter, you know what I'm saying? Like, why
yeah,
don't you take some of that off her plate instead of coming into the relationship and adding to the plate and then being upset that she's bogged down by what's on her plate?
make it make sense.
I Yeah, like because it's the same people, the same men who are also coming into relationships bringing more, and
Yeah,
you're expecting her to take it. So in my experience, I've always been the partner who was like, oh, Ashley doesn't want to partner with me. You're not a really good partner. We're not sharing in things. No, don't say I'm not a good partner because I don't want to take everything that you brought. I have my own plate.
right.
And before you come and try to join our plates together and pour yours on mine, like take something off mine first. Or else you got your plate and I got my plate. What you're not gonna do is just dump yours on mine, because no, baby, we
Yeah,
both gonna be
because
working
they
together.
will.
You keep your plate over there, and this is my plate, and that's never worked in a relationship. Because one thing about Black men, They want it all. They want all of it together. I need everything from you. I need you to take everything from me. No, baby. Because if it's not going both ways, I'm not interested. I'm
Yeah.
not interested in taking on more in a relationship so that you can be lighter. Why would I do that?
Whole time I'm over here like
Eh,
drowning.
Drowning. I'm literally drowning, and you are having the time of your life.
Glad you're
Absolutely
having a
not.
great time.
Absolutely not. That
No.
that has definitely been every relationship I've ever had. Every relationship I've ever had. I don't feel like you're like helping me or like, no, 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 I'm gonna help you. What I'm not gonna do is take it from you. I'm
Yeah.
not going to embody it. I'm not going to put it on my own. I'm not going to shoulder it because
That's
that's
good you have that boundary though, because I sure as hell didn't.
that's not how
Ruined by like
I,
age 24. Absolutely ruined. Like
mm-mm.
they're
Because
crazy.
I've seen it, and that definitely came from just watching like my mom. My mom took everybody's stuff. You need help? Let me take that. Although you can barely help yourself. Let me take that from you. Let me get that from you. And I absolutely grew up like, no, that's yours. You keep that. I have my own. Don't need any of that. No, that's your childhood trauma. You keep that to yourself. I'm good. And it doesn't make for partnership
Mm.
because now they don't feel
Yeah.
connected because we don't share in everything, which some of that I don't want to share with you. I have enough trauma of my own. You have to sort your own out.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I keep having the conversations, keep trying to understand. Um and I mean obviously it's not like I don't have my own relationship of my own, but it did not come without taking on, some things. Like I have Cam, he has 3 boys. He was married for 10 years. Like they were high school sweethearts. There's like so many you know, things there to the point where I really had to get into counseling because I feel like they raise women to be like, look forward to marriage, look forward to the partnership, the whatever of it all. I am not gonna hold you. I really didn't even want kids for real. For like I had Cam because like we're here now, but that was not my
Correct.
that was not my thing. Even
Right.
marriage, like as we're like planning the wedding, I don't have a Pinterest with color schemes and shit on it. Like partnership in that way is very permanent if you want it to be. And just it requires, like you said, so like you do have to take a certain amount of stuff. And I don't, or I didn't for a while, know if that's, what I wanted to do. Um,
Mhm.
and we're working through it. And I think we're doing all right. I'll find out when when I put this out if we are. But
Right.
just like I come from a family of like married 20 plus years, all of the things. And so it irritates me when they're like, oh, you're not raised to be this, because I very much was, to a deficit of like, well, wait until you get married to like get your house, wait until you're married to do this. And it's like, I
Why?
looked up at like, for what? Like I could literally go and do it right now. And I just feel like although we hate the evolution of women and how that has changed like the dating world and the marriage world and stuff, it's so necessary to know like we don't have the coverture is not a thing anymore. You know what I mean? Like we literally can do those things. And I feel like it's used against us so much. And I don't get it. I don't get it. But maybe that's a
I'm right there
conversation.
with you.
Yeah.
Partnership is very elusive for me at this point. I don't even know if you know this. I've been married twice. I'm 32.
I didn't
Um,
know that.
we're not gonna go too much into
Yeah.
it.
It's fine.
No, no, no. Um, I got married very young. Um, and obviously that didn't work because again, I was not a good partner. I am notoriously not a good partner
At least
because
there's accountability.
partnership is very scary for me. Like the joining of, we can do like companionship. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna love you. I'm not gonna cheat. I'm loyal. But like when you talk about like meshing and joining, no, we need to remain like two different people. You're you and I'm me, and that just does not go well for partnership. But what I learned, I guess, from being married twice, being divorced twice, is that I have to learn how to do that part.
Mm,
So in my last relationship, I was hoping that that's where that was headed, but I was very slow to marry for that very reason, because I did not think that I had mastered that, and then it just came with so much. My ex, my last relationship, my kid's father, he had 3 other children.
Oh, wow.
3 other children. He had been married for 5 or 6 years prior to me. And like you said, it was just a matter of like, do I want to take that on? And that was when I only had 1 kid. So it was like, I'm going from 1 kid to 4 kids. You got 2 baby mamas. Like, it's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And in the 4 or so years that we were together, it was a lot. And it was a lot of me having to be very, very clear on my boundaries. Like, love you down, love you to death, love these kids. But baby, I am not taking all of this on. And just having to stand firm in that. And I obviously, we didn't work out.
Mm.
And that was a really big reason why, even after we had our own kids, because now we have 2 kids together and we're not together, just could not make it to that point of marriage,
Yeah.
because I wasn't going to be married having to take on as much as I had to take on and not feeling like something wasn't being taken on from me. Like,
Yeah.
you weren't taking anything off my plate, but you were coming with like a lot,
Yeah.
a lot. So, I mean, I'm right there with you, just trying to figure out the partnership angle of it. Like, because at this point we're all coming with something.
Yeah.
Um, Even now that I'm thinking, if I ever start dating again, I'm literally gonna be on a first date like, yeah, so I work 80 hours a week, 2 different states. I travel every week, back and forth. I have 3 kids. That's 3 kids, 3 kids, 2 baby daddies, bunch of degrees. I'm in grad school. They gonna literally be like, check
Check.
please. Yeah, like, there's too much going on. Like, I'm prepared for that. So I'm just cruising in a single lane for a really long time, because I know my plate that I'm bringing to whatever relationship is
Yeah.
full. It's stuff falling off the sides at this point. So, and I don't know what that's going to look like years from now. I obviously didn't expect to be here,
Yeah.
but
But
I'm
at least
here
you seem comfortable in it. Like you're not in a
because I could have
desperate
been
place.
here in another situation. I'm not here looking for anything else. I've been married. If I'll never do it again, baby, I did it. It's cute. You're good.
That's
I,
how I feel going into this. I hope he doesn't.
yeah,
I'm
like,
gonna cut that out. Actually, that's probably not the best thing to say, but cut that part out.
it is very good when it's what you want. When I got married, I didn't want to get married, and I shouldn't have got married. But I'm hoping that if I ever get married again, it's because that's what I wanted to do. And I was very intentional about that, even in my last relationship, because we talked about it. We could have gotten married literally 6 months in, but no, I want to be intentional about it. So even now, I'm just here, girl. We gonna wait. We gonna live, but at least I'm not here broke. I'm
Yeah.
not here broken. I'm not here, oh man, I don't have any kids. I got a career. I got kids. It's
Life is
nothing that I'm,
full.
I'm lacking. Yeah, I am whole. I am whole. And if it ever comes, cool. If it ever doesn't, cool.
No, I think that's a perfect place to be in. And I feel like just the notion that you do have to have like a man, or you do have to have those things for your life to be full, is not. I've listened to this podcast. It's called Righteous and Respectable. This lady, Demetria Lucas, she's like in the entertainment world, is like, a writer,
Mhm.
editor, whatever. And she recently was living in Ghana, but I mean, she's like all over Africa right now. I don't know how old she is, but I'm assuming like in her 40s, and like living life. You know what I'm saying? I don't think she has any kids, but she was married before. She's not now. And like life is just full. Like it's okay. And I just be thinking, like, if this doesn't work out, whatever, okay, I'm about to be 30. Like, I could do that. I'm gonna send Cam to his dad, and I'm gonna just go live. I'm gonna do holiday, in Anguilla
In
or
South
something.
Africa. And
and just live. Because there's so
I
much
hear
more
it
to
all.
life.
It's so much more. And then the reality is that's probably where your next phase of life is gonna be. You gonna figure out what you want to do while you're doing something like that. And I always get from people like, well, you got 3 kids. Like, where you, baby, these kids got passports. And
What you
to
think? We
Africa,
out.
to the nanny, and we on the way. Like, what you
Well,
mean?
au pair, for real. Like, and I love that. Okay, I don't love that life in the sense of like the absence of the father because I think that they're super important. Like, even though me and my sons that didn't work out, I'm never keeping him from, and it is a lot of fucking legwork. You know what I'm saying? To, hey, you haven't called in like a month. Maybe you should do that. Hey, this is what's going on. Like that constant reaching out, or even if we're arguing, you speaking to me crazy and like having to bite that because you don't see the value in like respecting me just because you're there for the kid. Like we've gone through so many different phases, but there are two parents here. And I feel like that's the part that I'm coming into now. And I know my mom hates that a lot because I'm considering sending him to his dad for his third grade year. Just because, and it sounds so dumb, but like if I want to do Pilates at 8 o'clock at night, I want to go fucking do Pilates at 8 o'clock at night. If I want to go to Colorado in the middle of the week, like I want to be able to do those things. Like the amount of like pouring into everything else, like you said, is so great now. And it took two of us to do this. You're missing out. You don't even know what it's like day in and day out. You're raising like somebody else's kids, sure, because that's the thing. But like for Cameron, you are the other parent. And he's like welcoming. He's like, yeah, send him here, or whatever. But then of course there's other traumas on that side that have not been dealt with. So I'm like, please don't make me put my baby back in counseling when he comes back.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you'll never know. If I keep robbing you of experiencing everything in its entirety, you're never going to know. And then it's going to be even harder for you to come back. Because me and my dad just clicked like that was 2018 or 2019. And I mean, we're easing into the shit, but it is not easy. I'm
Yeah.
just like, hey, like, what's your favorite color? Okay.
You start from the bottom. Okay.
Like, when's your birthday? Like, as two full grown people, it's weird.
But I commend you because now that's something that I am just walking into is co-parenting because my first daughter I didn't have to co-parent. Like he was in Germany. We weren't exchanging visitation. We weren't doing holidays. But now my younger kids, obviously, we're trying to figure out how we're still in the phase of mourning the relationship at this point. I'm over it. He's not. So it's still that tension of, is this about the kids? Or are you mad that I left? Like, we're getting real emotional and we were talking about Christmas. Like, yeah, we're still there. And from everyone I've talked to who is used to co-parenting, they're like, it changes. It gets
Mhm.
better as time goes. So I'm just waiting for, let's
At
get to
what
the point
point?
where we're just talking about the kids and
Yeah.
when you can come pick them up because I need you to come get these kids. So we're not there yet. And then obviously I live in a different state now. So I'm like open. I'm listening to everybody who's used to co-parenting, who's been co-parenting for years, because I don't have that experience. And I don't know how to do that. And now I have to.
Yeah. I don't know. It definitely took acknowledgement on both ends because even when we were living in Arkansas, of all places, whatever, together, it was like he would get him on the weekends. I would have him during the week. But then he was like, I want to have a life too because we are the same age. You know what I mean? And although I'm like, are you serious?
Right.
But then it became every other weekend and just being understanding of some of the things over there. Even now that he's married, his wife now has 2 kids,
Mm-hmm.
and if I'm being quite honest, that's not my problem. But I will be understanding that you are now in a household of, he's got 3 kids, Cam included, and she's got 2. So that's a lot. So maybe you can't do X, Y, and Z, but I for sure am not going to do the whole of it. So we need to figure out like what's what. Um, I would say that at some point we could become friends, but there's just so much, like, it's not that I'm still mad about it, but you really did shit on me and shape like my life in a totally different way. And to you, we were just young, but to me, like, I was on the edge, like I was almost not here. And that's not light, or I'm not just about to chalk it up to like us being young. So that's stuff that I'm working through and, whatever. But at the, whatever of it all, the ticket is this much, where's your half? Like, we can,
You're not even there.
we can do that much. And it's fine.
I want to get to that part because obviously the difference in my oldest child, we didn't have the money. So, we arguing over, hey, like this formula is expensive. Like what are you going to buy it or not? Because I don't even want to talk about nothing else. In this situation, I'm an attorney, their father's an attorney. We're both very well off. But it's still like, hey, yeah, I can't get them on that week because I had trial. Well, baby, what you think I got? We're we're the same kind of attorneys. Like, what do you mean? And it's like, well, I'm gonna need these 5 days to myself. I'm going on vacation for my birthday. Like, well, that's nice, but I have a birthday too, and these kids still exist on my birthday just like they exist on your birthday. So, like, we're there. We're there where it's like, and I can admit what you just said kind of hit me because I do feel like I'm still holding on to some of the things from the relationship because I left so exhausted. I left that relationship because I was so exhausted. Me even telling you, like, we did the exact same thing. But for me, it was that job on top of being a mom of 6, on top of the household, on top of cooking and cleaning, on top of being a partner. And all you had to do was work. So even now when it's like, well, I want to get the kids, but I have a job. Like, baby, I've had a job the whole time and I don't want to hear that no more. I don't care. I don't care because I have that too. And I've always had that. So now that we're not together and it's not like me dismissing it and overlooking it because I love you. Now we're at the part where no, baby, if I have to do this, you need to do it too. You need to do it too.
And they be so blown. Like, I remember I deployed to Saudi Arabia. I think that was like the end of 2020. And full disclosure, he gives me like $500 a month. Daycare is $475. You do the math, whatever. So anyway, he had like a dental appointment. Copay was like $75. He was like, so, like, you gonna see your... I was like, do you think Cam doesn't have dental appointments here? Like, you think he just walks around like with fucking cavities? No, not at all. Oh, his birthday is gonna be this much.
So handle it.
Your best bet is to leave me the fuck alone at this point because there's no way. You can't be serious. You can't.
We are not at the point yet where we can just be like, we're just gonna disengage because this conversation is not.
That's mature.
We're not there, baby. So I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna block you, or you're gonna leave me the fuck alone. Because one of us is going to jail by the end of the night. Like, that's what we are. We are at that very tense space of like, you got one more time. I'm crazy to me, and I'm coming.
Okay.
So when I say I'm so serious. I've talked to my parents. I've talked to therapists. I am praying we get through to the other side of co-parenting. Because right now, ain't shit sweet. Yeah. Ain't shit sweet, baby. You can't ask me to walk an extra inch for you right now. No. No. I ain't got it. I don't got time. No.
Get somebody else to do it.
Get somebody else to do it. No. And I know that it's just not going to be conducive for the next 18 whatever years. But like,
y'all get there 100%. I feel. I have faith. I believe in you.
I am paying. I got 2 kids. You had 1. I got 2 in daycare at the same time.
Oh hell!
When you call me like, yeah, I ain't gonna be able to pay. I don't give a sir. Sir,
hear me.
Sir, I'm going to send you the daycare payment information directly. You don't even have to go through me. But when I drop these kids off on Monday, daycare better be paid. It better be paid,
bruh.
Or I might have to catch a flight that same day.
But it's like, that's the stuff that I'm talking about that I don't understand. It's like, why we gotta go through all this? Like, it's not just like y'all are the best partners ever and we're so difficult and bruh, do your part. Just
it's the least you can do. I'm not asking you to do me no favors, and that's my favorite when they feel like it's a favor. Like, well, right, I handle the daycare for your children. They are your children.
So they don't gotta eat. They don't need no clothes. He don't need to go do
You're
sports.
not helping me. You're not doing me a favor. And at least we're not even at the point where we have like consistent child support. We're still on like the honor system
Yeah.
of, hey, it's been 3 months since you sent some diapers. They still wear those if you'd like to
In case you were wondering.
drop a box by, because
Nah, we've done the honor system. Cam's 7, he's about to be 8. And we did it because I really don't have to ask for the bare minimum. But when it comes, there's a difference between being, in my opinion, dad and a father. Like, okay, yes, he has the bare minimum, but are you going to invest in like his athletic stuff? Are you going to, help with these piano lessons? Are you going to help like round him like as a child? Because everything's so much easier when they're younger. Like, okay, they need diapers, they're going to sleep, they're going to eat, whatever. The emotional development, the stage that I feel like we're coming into now with Cameron, of like how to manage your emotions as a young boy, young Black boy, especially, is more than I think that I was ready for. And I feel like that's why I'm sending him there. Not that his dad is like the most rational person ever, but maybe there's something there that like I don't got it on me right now. And
yeah.
that part of child rearing or whatever is just not anything I don't think you can prepare for, because you never know what your kid is going to struggle with, what they have a deficit with. And child, pray for me, because
And you talking about having a girl.
I'm done. I decided like maybe 6 months
I hear
ish
you.
ago. He has a vasectomy. I'm serious.
Oh, well, see, that's different.
Yeah,
That is
I'm not doing it. I want
yeah.
so much. Sounds so whatever. I want so much more for me. And I know that sounds selfish. And my mom, God bless her, love her, great lady, has a great heart. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I wish I would have seen what it was like to really go for your shit. Cause like
Mhm.
naturally I could do nothing and be average. That's great. But like, what does it really look like to manifest your reality and manifest you at like your highest peak? That's something that I'm like figuring out as I go. And I wish I would have seen my mom go for that a little bit more than for like the relationships and whatever. So I'm like, I think I'm gonna do that. I think that's in my life. I want to go for
And
that.
that was me.
Hopefully, Cam's proud of that. I don't know. We'll
And
find out.
that's where that was me, of like watching and wanting so much more from my mom. So I'm now hoping that I am the mom where my kids are like, oh, my mama said she wanted it. She went and got it. And she took us with her, because
Yeah.
I'm also not going to be, I have the kids. They're here.
Hmm.
There's nothing I can do about the kids. They're here. So now I still have to be able to maintain and reach my goals even with these kids. And they just going to have to be there with me.
Yeah.
No exaggeration. They're going to be in the courtroom per usual.
That's
I
cool.
just, you just got to do whatever you got to do to get to your goals. But I'm hoping that I'm the mom that I wanted from my mom.
I hope that they value that and they're like, I don't even care about, I don't care about whatever, that they're just like, I don't care about the legal world. I wanted you like here, or I wanted you whatever. So taking them with you is just, it's important, because I feel like that's what kids notice who is there. They notice.
That's what I'm hoping. I, and I have to just like think back to like my own childhood. Like, what did I remember? I remember the birthday parties that my dad didn't come to. I remember, the presents I didn't get. I remember you didn't come to my graduation. I remember that. So
Yeah.
I'm very, very intentional about like, oh no, baby, I'm gonna be there. Because I
Yeah.
don't want you to be 35 years old, like, dang, my mama really didn't come. No, she was there.
She was there, and hoping that they get it one day, because like his dad will send like an Alexa, laser gun, or whatever, and so it's like all these little present. Sorry, oh girl, she be listening. But he's like, oh, my dad sent me like these 3 or 4 things. I just bought you a Switch. That's like almost $400. Yes, it's one gift, but like, and it's like you don't want to say that because whatever, but just the perception of like, oh, my dad loves me so much, and da da da, and fighting the urge to be like, something real quick.
Anyways, yes, yes. But
Right.
I'm telling you, that's a new thing for me. That's a new thing for me. And I had to just get to a point where like, it's not gonna take anything away from you as a mom, because you're still mom. And
Yeah.
especially the boys. The boys, baby, it's mom all day. I don't care what daddy gonna do. Cameron's always going to love mom. And
Oh.
this is coming from somebody who has girls and boys. My son don't play by his mama. Period. But even like, I know my daughter's birthday was just in December, and she got like a $200 Amazon gift card from her dad. And she was like, oh my,
Yeah.
this is the best. Meanwhile, we literally like, where did we go for her birthday? On vacation, out of the country. And she's like, God, this is the, we are, we are out of the country. And she's like, man, I can't believe, and she talked about it for days. What am I gonna buy on Amazon? Because I have like $200. I can spend, and I literally was like blood boiling.
Yo, what can you do, man? Those great 2 months in the summer, just so amazing.
So amazing. And
Okay.
that I'm still gonna have to work through that. Even like, I think my younger kids went with their dad a few weeks ago, and he sent me all these videos. They went to jump places and they went to
Oh,
paint and
wow.
had to eat. And I'm like, oh my God, he gets to be like the fun parent,
Mm-hmm.
the entertainment parent. And
Yeah.
I get to be like the disciplinarian, the normal, oh, that's just mom. And that really made me mad, you
Yeah.
know, because I want to be a fun parent
I could ball out for 2 months, of course.
to do that. I want to, every time you come with me, because you only come with me a day out the month, we're going to do all the things. And
So
then I'm
much
going to drop you
candy.
back off.
Mhm.
You know, and I'm sad and mad about that at the same time.
Mhm.
So that's something I'm definitely working through, because I do not want you to be the entertainment parent, because I don't get to be the entertainment parent.
Yeah.
And I don't see why you get to be.
It's really not fair, but I mean, that's the hand that we're dope. Okay. So, break. I want to go into a segment. I call it Crack the Code. But it really is like the center of what I intend conversations to be. So like I love to have just open and honest dialogue within Crack the Code. Like I said, they're more of like what's in your whole bag kind of questions. But for you, because you have so much on your plate, I want to know about like making friends as an adult. Like what's the I see your eyes get big. Like how do you do it? If you do it, like what are some things that you can do to even figure out if like this is your type of person? Because right now I'll be sending like little notes in Cameron's book bag to school because like they're so whatever about kids going to, or parents or anybody, going to school. So I'll send a whole note like, hi, I'm Cam's mom. He mentions your child a lot. Check yes or check no. If you want to like play date, here's my number. And
Oh,
like, yeah. With respect, because it's Texas and like people just be like shoot them schools. Like
um, I did not expect that question. Yeah, that's not my realm at all. I have had the same friends for like 20, 25 years.
oh wow.
Um, no exaggeration. My best friends are like my best friends. I'm like a very no new friend person.
Really?
And then with my kids, my daughter, like all her best friends are the same way. She's had the same best friends for over a decade.
Are you
And
an
now
only
that you
child?
said that, hmm?
Are you an only child? Like to have that?
No, I have a lot of siblings. I'm
Oh,
actually one of eight. Um, and you said that, I'm like, oh my God, like I don't have new friends. No, I don't. I don't have new friends. I would love some.
Holler at me if you try.
I
No,
don't.
people don't talk about that though, especially because like, guys, they can go play pickup, football, basketball, whatever. It's like, obviously that's my friend. We play football every fucking week, whatever.
Right, right.
But as women, I just feel like even that one time, I remember I was in Atlanta, I think for like Curl Fest.
That's
And
what I was about to say. I did brunches for a long time.
yeah, those were
Um,
dope.
I really, and girl, I'll cry talking about this. Everybody's always like, when is Black Girl Coalition coming back? Girl, I don't have time to Black Girl Coalition anymore. But if I could get somebody else to do it, I would absolutely support it, because it was so good for that purpose. But
Yeah.
little did you know, like the people we were brunching with, those are my friends. those are my those are my people. Like we've been friends for years. I think the people I started Black Girl Coalition with, one of them's my actual blood cousin, and the other one's my friend of almost 15 years. So
That's dope though.
yeah, but I do miss that. But that's why we started that, because we wanted to have communities of Black women in different cities and states, and then just allow people to meet. And I've met so many people through that.
Yeah. That's
I
that's honestly
have.
why I was like, oh, this would be a great question.
I have. But when you're talking about like daily communication,
It's a
that's
lot.
my friends. My friends are my friends. My best friend, we've been best friends for 28 years.
That's crazy.
Like yeah, those are, and that's all of my friends. But for my kids, like my kids are younger now, so I guess at some point I am gonna have to start doing the play date situation.
Yeah.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there because I'm not the play date mom.
It's different. I've packed a little boy up within 30 minutes, him being at my house because he was just being so damn rude to Cam. I was like, you know what you could do? Go home, get your shit. Get your shit. I'm gonna be in the car. Like,
See, and I'm very much gonna be like, you don't want to go play with your sisters? Go play with your sister. Just go play with, because no, no.
no, it's cool. Military is like cool because like you get to meet so many different people, whatever. But then you also have to leave so many people. Like, you're there for 3, 4 years, and then it's like, all right, I'm gonna chunk up the deuces and go live halfway across the fucking country. And then, try and recreate that. I remember being in Florida and I was doing something similar. Like I would create a topic and I would go live and I'd be like, hey, I'm gonna be here. If you guys want to talk about this, like pull up. And honestly, my friend Marshantia now, like she's what I consider my manager of this all. Like she gets my editor, she gets my virtual assistant and stuff like that. But that's how I met her, just like by putting myself out there. But in terms of like friends, I don't even talk to anybody from high school. Like mostly because I'm not proud of who I was in high school. So I'd be like, if you met anybody that knew you, then just
Disregard.
it was a weird time. But my friends that I have now, I probably have like 3 real friends. And those are
Mm,
people that like I can bare my soul to. Like I just made terrible life decisions. I know this. You don't need to tell me this, but like I'm so raw right
let's
now.
talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And then I have different groups of friends. Like I have concert friends, I have travel friends. I like the different groups, but are they friends? I don't
Yeah, I
know.
don't have that. And I need that. I need that just for the, because it serves the purpose for what it's for. It is
Yeah.
what it is. I don't have that. Like at all. And it also just plays into I'm have a really hard time attaching to people. So these are people that I have bonded with, which is a very rare thing. So
Yeah.
they know everything about me. Because when I attach, maybe I attach like you.
For lifer.
Yes, I'm bearing it all. So these are people. So it's really hard for me to create new people because I got attached to you, and that takes like a really long time. So yeah, I don't have those like associate groups.
Yeah.
And
Have
then
you
in
ever had
my
to I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, like in my career field, and that's a whole other thing. Black women attorneys is so clicky, especially in Atlanta. It's very hard to find like a career group. I can't even find a mentor, because
Oh,
that's just
wow.
the legal field. So I don't have those associate groups at all.
That's sad.
Mm,
It's a little fun until it's not. Have you ever had to drop a friend? Because that's heartbreak to me. Forget these
I
dudes.
have had my best friend and I fell out for a year.
That's a long time.
And it was the hardest year of our lives. Literally, like when we came back together, it was like, girl, I cry every day.
I miss
It
you
was
so
terrible. Like, what are we doing? But
bad.
we just, and the crazy thing is, it's one of those things like you don't even remember what you fell out over. But that was like the worst breakup. I've had breakups.
Right.
I can literally just roll over and be like, I'm done with this. We're done. Losing my best friend for that year, I was a mess. A mess. Like could not function, did not, because like who do I tell when something happens to me? Who do I call? I was on my own, girl. I was lost in the ocean without my best friend.
Yeah.
So I don't have to do that often. My friends are like, they've been here for a long time. We don't argue, we don't fall out. So I don't have those like friend breakups.
Damn. I would, yes, they're very hard. I've been through one real one. I'm currently going through one now, and I don't know that we were just that great of friends. We just been friends for a while, and we kind of have, the military in common. And she's one of them friends where it's like you're getting home at 3 o'clock, and it's just like, what's up. Like, don't ask
Mhm.
me questions, and like you accept me, I accept you. There's no judgment. Um, but I go through phases like okay, for instance, this one, she like stood me up for my birthday trip to Vegas. What? While I'm boarding the plane. What? And now I'm trying to take over the hotel reservation and there was no reservation. What? So it's even then I was like, I'm done. And then we were able to talk it through, but I was like, we probably just will like literally never go anywhere together again. And then trying to work in that space, but then now everything's so flaky. And I'm like, I don't I don't know how to deal with this shit. Like, you know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? There's people who want to be around me. There's people who love me, who like me, who care. But then also like maybe they're going through something and you have to like give them the space to go through shit. So I just feel like my friendships, I think I have so many different friend groups because I'm just like I said, I have to think about a priority. So if I feel like our friendship is not a priority, I'm like, well, I'm over here with it. So maybe it's
Right.
a flaw. Maybe I should unpack that. That's crazy saying that
You
out
pretty
loud.
much know the root of it. So I mean, now you just enforce your boundaries. I can open and honestly admit I would not know how to make new friends because I have had the same friends. I've had the same friends so long that my high school friends, my elementary friends have merged and now they know each other. Now they're friends. Like that's how long I've had my friends.
I think that that's so dope though. I would have loved to
Oh
have.
no, I don't take it for granted at all. No, I know people who can't keep friends for 6 months. Like no, I these my people. Like we not going nowhere. We locked in. We are locked in. But I can't. I'm trying to think of like my newest friend. We probably are going on 3 or 4 years. And in the
Okay.
beginning, we did have that's my newest friend. But in the beginning, we did have those like moments where, and I also, I think it's a lot of me because I'm very insecure in like those kind of attachments. So it was always like, is she like not responding to me? That's not my friend anyway, girl. So I don't care. Like it took me a really long time to get to the point where like that's my friend. We were
Yeah.
very much like, oh yeah, I know her. She's cool. I know we're going on 2 years and we hang out every day, but like, yeah, she's cool. She's cool. Yeah, I'm cool with her.
But
But now
also you have that to go on it because like I can hang out with somebody every day for 2 years and then now I live across the country and I might see you like once a year. So it's like that aspect. And then also growing into different spaces. The friends that I have now, they believed in me in a time where I didn't believe in myself at all. And I needed that. But then when I started to go into like my creative spaces and like I'm putting out books and stuff and you didn't buy one, like, how come? But somebody that I just met like last week is sitting in her living room, front and center, like she's super proud of me. Like, this is great. I don't know. So the
yeah,
friendship thing is weird.
the friendship thing is weird. But the friendship thing and the support thing are two different things. And that's what I've learned because I get more support from strangers I've never met
Facts.
ever.
Facts. Yo, whenever I
And
get into analytics and I look, I'm like, ooh,
who are girl, but who cares? Because they supporting
alone.
you, right? They supporting you. Let them
Yeah.
support you. Let them support you. Friends, and I'm very like I'm not loose with the term at all. It takes me a really long time for you to be like
A
my
friend.
friend.
Yeah.
You're gonna be my homegirl for a really long time, homegirl. We are homegirls
She's
because I
cool.
just yeah, she's cool. She's cool. We're cool. We're cool. Hang out sometimes. We're cool. We talk sometimes. We're cool.
Oh
But
my God.
it I don't know. That's a really hard area for me because I'm a really friendly person, but I'm not a friendly person, if that makes
No,
sense.
I get that. I get
Yeah.
that.
I'm gonna let you talk all day, and by the end of the lunch, you know nothing
Made so
about
much
me.
progress. Not she cool.
Yeah, she's great. We'll do this again next week, homegirl. You're good. You're cool. You're great.
Don't worry about it. Oh man. Well, this has been cool. This is definitely usually I keep it like an hour. I don't even know. I can't even see.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, this has been great. This is what I aspired to for from the start. So I love that we made time and we were able to get it in.
I know.
So just really quick, if like what all do you have going on? If do you have anything coming up? Is there anything that you want people to know, see, even if they just want you to see like your funny posts because you crack me up?
Uh, that's probably, if you want to be friends with me, Facebook friends is always the first way. I love Facebook. Facebook is like, I know people think I talk so much. I don't. I don't talk a lot in person at all, but I talk a lot on Facebook. So if you want to talk to me, that is it. That is where you can find me.
Okay. And yeah, I don't know. I guess I just look forward to seeing like what you accomplish now. I feel like it's so interesting to see people 5 years. Like, who would have thought? Maybe you'll be like, what's the old girl's name? It's like I am legally hype on Instagram, and then like
Oh yeah,
parking lot pimping, Lene or something like that. I could definitely see you doing something like that. It would be super
I
dope.
could see that. I could see that.
I mean, just you heard it here first. So
Right. I don't know what I'm doing right now. So ain't no telling. 5 years, you're gonna be just as surprised as I am. I don't know where we are, but we'll see.
Okay, well, thank you guys for tuning in. This has been Ball Conversations. Please follow us on Instagram for more behind the scenes content. We'll be out with season 2 mid-March, so keep an eye on that. But for now, thank you guys for tuning in, and I will talk to you later.
Thank you.
Thank